Hey everybody, and welcome back to the live stream of the Hex Token channel. And of course, President Trump, we're going to talk about that. That was huge yesterday. Man, oh man, what a leadership that is, just the way it should be done. Very impressive. Excuse me. We're going to talk about crypto, the impact on crypto. Pulsechain, of course, we can talk about that. That's looking good. And TitanX making a bounce finally at the bottom of wave 2. We're going to get wave 3. Is this the green bounce? We thought we might have got it a couple of days ago, but that didn't happen, did it? So is this the green bounce for TitanX? Obviously, the narratives around that. We've got Ouroboros lending launching the TitanX ecosystem. So could that be the catalyst for Wave 3? All those questions and more. Let's talk about it later on. We're going to get into house. We've got Tintop here. Hey, Tintop, I hope you're doing now. What's up? Hey, you're in first today. That's pretty neat. Great to see Tintop in the house. The other thing is, it's going to be fun times moving ahead, I think. So look forward to that. We're going to talk about Magnus there in the chat there. Hey, Suitman. Hey, good to see you, Magnus. Hope you're doing well. Big shout out to Brennan. Howdy, Suitman and family. Our TA guru in the house. Good to see you, Brennan. And Craig Pitt. Morning all. Hey, good to see you, Craig. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, we are into the golden era, as Trump would say. The golden era has begun. President Trump, and man, what a start it has been. What an incredible start it has been. I mean, man, 4 years of 4 years of Biden sleeping at the job there or on holiday, and now we have a president that's come out with a slew of executive orders, and of course also the dialogue between the media. He just sits there and the media just asking questions. It is incredible, whereas Biden wasn't doing anything, and of course the press lady was just lying all the time. So it's amazing access to the president, real transparency, pretty incredible stuff. Wookie says Wookie is all over the road today. Hey, Wookie, be safe out there. Wookie's on the road doing a road trip. Brendan says Trump is live as we speak. Yeah, I was watching it before we started the live stream here. So I was definitely checking that out. He was talking about AI, $500 billion in AI investment over the next 4 years on a called Stargate, which you guys know I love Stargate. I love sci-fi. So that's really awesome. And of course, they're going to be targeting medical solutions, cancer, and things like that with that super AI set up in Texas, which is going to be pretty fun. Brendan's in the house there. Woohoo! Get excited, I know. Hey, it's going to have a lot of downstream impacts on not just America, but the rest of the world. And let's get into some of the stuff that Trump did for day one. Now, we're expecting a whole ton of more executive orders in the days ahead, because he's going to look to completely restructure and put America on the front foot as well as the rest of the world, to be honest. So that should be very helpful for the rest of us down under. We're plagued with progressives infiltration into our system. So yeah, let's get into it. All right. So the first executive orders, or EOs, he did a lot, obviously a lot of administrative stuff. He set up all his cabinet appointments and sub-cabinet appointments. He put the flag at half-mast on Inauguration Day. And not he did stuff around harmful executive orders and actions. So he did pulling back, I guess, Biden's executive orders. He also did a lot of other stuff. He restored freedom of speech. I mean, you guys know we are amping for freedom of speech because the Marxists and the globalists were taking them away. And of course, they sit in front of you on the channel and they lie to our faces and treat us as fools and idiots, which is the most ridiculous, because they're the fools and idiots. Because they have the wrong worldview and are doing the wrong things. And of course, the freedom of speech there is back in the United States, ending federal censorship as well. So if you're frustrated on social media, a lot of the time you are being censored. Well, it's we've got a revolution going on here. It is fantastic. So ending the weaponization of federal government. So things like Catholic schools and parents with their kids, they were coming after the Biden administration, coming after them. That's all freed up. So fantastic. Who knows? Turning the Justice Department on their own people. Crazy. Now, funny enough, a lot of the people that love censorship on the Democrats will have to go back to work because he's got a return and work there. And that's obviously from the COVID lockdown periods. And of course, flexible working. I'm into flexible working, but in terms of that, they're probably a bit more productive overall. So yeah, pretty amazing stuff there. Regulatory freezing, stopping departments from creating their own regulation and doing silly crazy stuff for the progressives. Hiring freeze there, so obviously looking to cut back costs. And of course, delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis. Obviously, inflation is one of the key things that Trump wants to target as well. Putting American first in international environment agreements, which is pretty cool. They obviously had pardons there for January 6s. Now, obviously, that was just a whole setup there by the Democrat Party. And it was obvious. You just watch the videos, you could see that another insurrection was happening. Where were all the guns and everything else? It was pretty crazy. You see videos of people walking freely in the corridors there. It was just crazy. And of course, they hid like 95% of the footage because they all showed peaceful stuff, right? Now, there was obviously definitely people, doing some rioting, and there was definitely people that deserved to be arrested. So it's that's not the issue, but there was definitely no insurrection. So just a political manipulation there. Nancy Pelosi, of course, turned down 10,000 state troopers that Trump was offering, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so they've got out. They have been abused inside those prisons in Washington, and they've had a double penalty, right? Not only was this used against Trump politically, those 1,500 people or more, just as political pawns, but they also were treated really badly in the prisons as well. And so getting some of them out is going to be tough also because of the way those prisons are run. So, yeah, it's a really good day for freedom. They've already had years of hell inside those prisons. So freedom is the order of the day. Application of protecting Americans from foreign adversary control applications of TikTok. Obviously, they're doing there's a plus and minuses around the TikTok thing. So they're going to be doing things about that because obviously Biden administration pulled TikTok down. We joined the United States from the World Health Organization. Fantastic, because they were going to use that to control us, right? So the World Health Organization was a big setup for the globalists. And the EU, the European Union, have got all the templates and setups for there. So they were going to put that global government in the West. They have to destroy America to do it, you see. If they're going to do a global thing, they have to destroy America. So this Trump is a big backward step in the wrong direction. And that's why Trump has to take the opportunity to smash these world organizations. So this is a great step in the right direction. But you believe me, these guys would have controlled us in the most horrendous ways you haven't even imagined. So a good thing we got that they've got out of that. Hopefully, some other countries in the West will follow. But the EU is going to be the last. It's going to be the toughest one. It's going to be the toughest one to crack, is the old European Union there. Restoring accountability to policy, influencing positions of federal worker there, holding former government officials accountable for election interference. That's fantastic. Declaring a national emergency at the southern border. Obviously, America's been invaded. Somewhere the numbers are huge. I've seen probably over the last 4 years numbers ranging probably about 12.5 to 15 million, somewhere in that ballpark. But over all the decades, it's probably close to 30-40 million people. So it's a pretty crazy number, but particularly the last 4 years, right? And the last 4 years particularly had a high number of criminals and terrorists and all sorts of people coming in. There'll be sleeper cells in the US that have come through the southern border that could be activated. They could be Iranian, they could be Chinese, all sorts of different ones there. So there's lots of different issues there. And of course, we know that they've activated that. So pretty awesome. And of course, memorandum resolved the backlog of security clearances for executive personnel. So a lot of the bad actors and the Democrats there have had their security clearances gone. That's good news. America First trade policy, obviously putting America first there on trade. Clarifying the military's role in protecting the integrity of the United States. Fantastic. Now, in other words, special forces can go now and target the cartels, things like that. This is wonderful. Remember, the cartels have been woman trafficking, baby trafficking, kid trafficking, drug trafficking, murdering. They had a partnership with the Biden administration to do all that criminality. It was pretty horrific. And think of all the bad things that have happened to those people trying to get through as well. Unleashing American energy. Obviously, energy is a key to lowering inflation, to having a huge growth in the economy. You've got to get that energy down. So we may very well see oil prices go down. So it's going to be really positive. Realigning refugee admission programs. I wish we had this in New Zealand. A lot of the refugees we have are questionable. In fact, not only questionable, they're obviously not refugees, and they're coming from some of the worst countries in the world. And typically they're radicalized. So you basically just bring in little terrorists a lot of time. Now, sometimes it's a mixed bag, but it just depends where they're coming from. So I think that's a good idea there. What happens is they set up their own radical things. We've got that happening in New Zealand. We've got a number of communities that have been let in, and they're starting to radicalize, and some of them are looking to take over the country and crap like that. I mean, it's just horrific, the stupid people they're letting in. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Obviously, the American dream and citizenship really important there, and securing the borders obviously a big deal there. So pretty cool on that. Number 2, we're almost down to the rest of them. And we got putting people over fishing. What else? There were obviously around the environment. Restoring the death penalty to protect public safety, obviously to deter extreme violence. We've seen extreme violence over the last 4 years over the United States. I won't go through some of the examples because it's pretty horrific, but man, that is good news. Promoting beautiful civic architecture, which is cool. But, they build a lot of rubbish. It's nice to see getting some nice buildings done. Restoring accountability for senior executives, declaring a national energy emergency. Temporary withdrawal of all areas of outer continental shelf. So that's kind of cool around the offshore wind leasing. What else we got there? Realigning foreign aid. That's also pretty important. Organizing the National Security Council. OECD, global tax deal. So they've got stuff around there, protecting the American people against invasion. Obviously, that's pretty top of the line. Finally, on the first day there, we also see unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential, protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security. America First policy directive to the Secretary of State, establishing the implementation of the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, obviously, I think they've tried to sue this straight out. The Democrats tried to sue this straight out of the gate, and they've got a. Not only is it going to be looking at government efficiency, but it's also going to be helping, as I understand it, to implement all the executive orders to make sure they're done early and fast, not like last time Trump was in, where they were trying to, the Democrat deep state was trying to slowball all the executive orders in terms of implementation. So that's good news. Defending women from gender ideology, obviously declaring male and female, all that sort of stuff, which is fantastic. That is biology and common sense. So we're not going to get some madness from these people that want a million genders just to confuse children and the rest of the stuff. Guys know how it rolls. So this is really, really good. That's going to have ramifications globally. So this is good news for us. Good news. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs, getting rid of all this discriminatory stuff. That's fantastic. For me, this DEI was originally just targeted at the white people. So if we want a world where everyone's treated equally based on their character and their merit, then this is the right direction forward, right? We can't have stuff based on your biology. We've all got 2 arms and 2 legs. It's just the way it goes. Reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service there. So that back to that meritocracy. And here's the big one, right? Designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And this potentially means that the special forces may go in and wipe out all these cartels that have been in partnership with the Democrats for the last 4 years. So you can imagine the amount of payment and sub corruption that's been going on with that linkage. So this is fantastic news, and I think it's going to benefit the Latin American, South American people big time if you can get rid of these cartels, right? These cartels are so evil, so they will, special forces going in, it will be devastating to them, and keep a lookout for that, because I definitely think that's going to happen on a large scale, and that will help clean up the southern border a lot. It would be pretty crazy. Now, whether they go for a complete wipe out the cartels, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that. You got to clean up that mess, right? That they can't have that evil sitting in Mexico or southern border, and it will be a win-win for not only Americans, but a win for Mexicans and people in South America. It could be pretty good. Restoring names that honor American greatness, and then guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion again there. So these are some of the highlights here from the White House. So presidential actions. I wanted to go through all that because, that's just a taster of all the executive orders. We're expecting a lot more coming up. So it's been pretty incredible, isn't it? Pretty incredible. Brendan says, be gone with green energy. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because that's what the New Zealand government's talked about doing. And of course, it's crazy because we don't have a lot of good wind sites left anymore. We don't have, and solar we don't have enough sun consistently. We've had not too bad lately, but consistently over years, we don't have it. So the solar's not great for us either. Good for Australia, but Australia is, but not for us. So we're in big trouble. We've got no gas, running out of gas. We've got like 7 years of gas left, and so you're left with coal. We got 100 years, about 300-400 years of coal in the South Island, but of course mining that's pretty ruthless, right? So I don't know whether there's an appetite for that. So that leaves you with kind of small nuclear. So that may be a question that New Zealand has to deal with at some stage. But of course, we've got a lot of crazy people running New Zealand. We don't have the sort of the 60-40, 50-50 split in the United States of common sense. We've got a very left-leaning society, and they're all nuts. They're all crazy nuts. They're destroying our country. So there's not much we can do about it. But hey, we're just going to have to cry ourselves the river. At least we get to look at the US and see that that's doing some good stuff, and hopefully that will have some downstream impact on us. But we have a lot of nutters running our place there. I mean, they're nutters. I cannot say enough about it. And that's both in our current government as well. They're disappointing big time, which was probably the best outcome we could have had for our own government. Be gone with green energy. The US economy. So I'm happy with green energy as long as it's appropriate and economic, right? So a lot of stuff is subsidized. Yeah, so you know how it rolls. It's just the way it goes. The US economy will benefit in freedom of speech. Absolutely, probably that is so true. Brennan says they rejected the wind farms in New Zealand and parts of New South Wales last night. Okay, cool. That's good to hear, Brennan. And Brennan says Labor is scrambling. Yeah, we have Labor governments. Well, here we have what we call the national government. It's supposed to be conservative, but they're not. 2/3 of their on the economic side, all they do is focus on efficiency. They got really no ideas. On the social side, they're all progressive, like 2/3 progressive. So they're supposed to be conservative, but they're actually progressive. So they're actually on the left. So they betray us all the time, right? They get in power, but they're doing the same old crazy stuff. They're not near as bad, let's be frank. So there are kind of better from that point of view. But at the moment, they got record immigration. They're replacing all us Kiwis. We've got a small population, so they can wipe us out in no time. It's not like UK with 80 million. Or United States with 350 million. We only had about 3.5 million, and they've already replaced 30-40% of our population is already replaced with foreigners. And so, yeah, our Kiwi culture is going to be wiped off. We got over 200 years of Kiwi culture, and Maori culture is, older than that. It's probably 700 years old, maybe 800 years old. So, it's pretty hardcore. And we've got all the baby boomers going to be passing away eventually at some stage. Obviously we want them to live as long as possible, but we've got all that. So we've got a lot of stuff happening there. And all that's happening in our country is we're just getting taken over by the two biggest people groups in the world, which is Chinese and Indian, right? So it's not much fun for us. There's multiculturalism just as basically the biggest group that comes in controls, right? That's the end game. Eventually. So they seek political power, they organize and all that stuff. So we've got all that stuff going on in New Zealand, including the woke stuff, the DEI stuff, and all the prejudice stuff against white people. So white people are under huge discrimination in New Zealand, and yet they're still the majority. How ironic is that? That's how perverse the ideology is, whereas everyone should be treated equally, and that was the promise of multiculturalism, right? So let's see where that all goes. And we are living in one of the best, most beautiful countries in the world. But even that can be slowly destroyed through bad societies. Crime is going through the roof, and it's just horrific. I hear people, some Indian store owners talking about that they can't even report people, doing stealing because the police won't do anything. And then the criminals know that the police won't do anything, so they go and steal more. And eventually they're going to go from retail stealing to home invasions. You watch, in a couple of years they'll be doing a home invasion will become commonplace here, just like it is in other parts of the world. So it's horrific stuff, and it's just common sense to be able to shut this stuff down. But we've got idiots running the place. Common sense. It could shut this stuff down in no time, but we've just got absolute nutters running place. So having Trump come in as president of the United States is just a wind of wonderfulness, and the golden age truly is coming for America. And hopefully we will get a bit of that shine on our country, because we need it. We need it big time. All right, so that's enough of me rambling about politics. Let's jump into the stock market. How did the stock market react to that? And we got the S&P 500 closes higher on Trump fueled optimism. And boy, am I optimism. What a great day it was yesterday. I enjoyed it all. The inauguration speeches, the balls and everything else, watched it all. It was fantastic. We have the Dow Jones up 1.25%, 538 points. A really strong day on the stock market, up to 44,000. The S&P 500 up 0.9%, 53 points to 6,050. The Nasdaq up 0.6%, 127 points to 19,756. So a great day on the stock market there. US dollar actually weakened off quite a lot there yesterday, down 1.3%. at 107.76 on the US dollar versus its trading partners. Commodities. This is the one thing I'm expecting to see with the commodities is the oil prices. So West Texas is at $77.40 and Brent oil is at $80.73. It has come down over 0.5% today. I am expecting a certain decrease in the oil prices under a Trump economy because he's going to, basically drill, baby, drill, as he would say in the US. And of course, US has got tons of oil reserves, and so it'd be great to see that. Now, generally, it's higher priced than some of the Middle East stuff, especially the Saudi stuff. But if you think about the oil price chart tranches, it's definitely going to help lower the volume with the larger scale development. So bring it on. We're probably going to see some stuff like that in Canada happen. Should Polyev win, we'll probably see some diversification there in terms of them building their own refineries and exports in Canada, as opposed to sending a lot of stuff through to the US. So we're going to see a few changes, I imagine, once all that stuff plays out. Maybe by next year, I think we've got the election for potentially for Canada coming up at the end of this year. I just can't remember the exact date, but let me know in the chat if you guys remember, especially if you're Canadian, eh? Obviously, Trudeau is trying to stay in power. So let's see what the courts do around that as well. Trump takes office. So Trump was also, the markets are obviously considering and particularly concerned about the tariffs that Trump talks about. Obviously, he typically uses them strategically or as an income earner. And Trump said he is mulling over imposing a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico from February 1st about border policies. So he wants them to get back in line. And of course, he wants the Remain in Mexico policy reinstated there, which worked very well last time. So that's kind of cool. Now he hasn't yet slapped on tariffs yet, but let's see what happens in the next couple of days as he negotiates. Probably the next few weeks is my guess. We will see where he heads with that. So that's kind of the play at the moment. And obviously he's been doing a lot of stuff around the technology, the AI, and of course focusing on government efficiency. That's going to be a big thing coming up. And of course the Ukraine, Russia. He's probably going to have big stuff coming up for that. So that's kind of where we are there. Let's jump over to the markets. So Bitcoin liking it. Bitcoin at $105,907, up 3.13%. Dominance is a bit higher than what we've seen the last couple of days at 56.45% is the Bitcoin dominance. Ethereum there is up just under 0.9%, $3,324. XRP up 1.1% at $3.16. Solana there up 1.6%, 250. And we got BNB? BNB 1.2% at $691. ADA down 1.2% at $1. Tron up 2.3% at 24.5 cents. And Litecoin there is flat at $118. So those are kind of our leaders. One thing I'd say about this is that we're seeing some good signs for our altcoin season. So this is really, really cool. I mean, look at it. Bitcoin's over 100K, man. It is exciting times. Altcoin season is going to be pretty rufus, as we say, rufus. You just got to be patient now. Obviously, we're getting there. It's coming. And look at this. This is our modeling, right? This is our forecast. We've been following this, right, for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's a bit easier to model in many ways to altcoin season, right? Altcoin season. Typically, you have Bitcoin, you have Ether, then the majors like Ethereum and stuff, Solana and etc. And then you have all the altcoins, and they do the big runs, and they run for a month, 2 months, something like that. Yeah, and sometimes there's a little delay between that, and of course, Pulsechain had typically been a bit later too. But look, this is where we are at the moment. It's tracking very well, isn't it? This is looking fantastic. So the Bitcoin is tracking very well. Here we are at $105,800. In fact, yesterday we got a high of $109,358. So yesterday was fantastic on that Trump news. And look, we are heading towards our goal very well. So Bitcoin modeling is tracking very well. And I'm very, very excited for this 150 mark to 180 potentially by March or April. So we know that February is the best month of the year pretty much. And we're about to enter it very soon at the end of January. So 22nd, 21st of January. So we're coming into really this beautiful, beautiful looking period here. And let's have a look here. So 1st of February all the way through to, let me just have a look here, to the end of February. That is the mark there. So that's typically extremely green in there. So let's see how we go. Everything is looking pretty good here at the moment. on the old Bitcoin and altcoin season. That's when the mad gains are made. Ethereum at the moment, 3,314. Now, Ethereum's been underperforming relatively. You know, we keep hitting 100,000 on Bitcoin, but Ethereum's kept having a lower price. But I'm sure Ethereum's going to have its day. We do see the Trump family crypto investment yesterday buying Ethereum. We see a bit of potentially wash trading through from Solana through to Ethereum. And I think Ethereum will have its day. We know it's got huge institutional banking, so I think it's going to do pretty well. Obviously, a lot of attention will be on Solana, given the fact that Trump, the Trump meme coin and the Melania meme coin on there. But yeah, this is still looking very good in my view on the Ethereum, and some good prices to get in on this action for altcoin season. So that's pretty much it for the old crypto. We're going to get into Pulsechain next. Before we do, let's catch up with some people in the chat. We got Brennan says China is selling the products but not using it in their own country. Such a Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Well, they had that last time when Trump was in power, and they were dumping steel. You know, typical steel dumping, and they put tariffs on steel, right? And they made hundreds of billions of dollars on that, if I remember rightly. So yeah, pretty cool. Brennan says Trump was asked about the meme coin in the media 30 minutes ago. Oh, what did he say about that? Let us know, because I'm obviously not watching that at the moment, but I was before the live stream. Let's get into Pulsechain. Let's get next. Bam. All right. So Richard Hart, he posted out a couple of posts today. That's very bullish. His timing. Remember, the timing of his posts is very important as well. We just went and saw the market, where the market's at. Now we're seeing interesting when Richard's posting. It's pretty interesting. So math is truth. Some of the free coins are worth more than $1,000 a coin. Wrap Bitcoin, for instance. What other project gave you a free $1,000 per BTC? That's so true, isn't it? So true. Liquidity up and to the right. Heck, 10% APR for just stables in the stable pool. Free money is real. And of course, those stable pools were a very good sign for the future of Pulsechain. I was very impressed when I saw those. And of course, the farms are going very well. Look at these yields in DAI. This is EDAI. This is EDAI and Pulse, 46%. You know, USDC, Pulse at 45%, wrapped ETH from Ethereum and Pulse at 34%, and USD Tether from Ethereum and Pulse at 48%. So some spectacular yields there, and they've just been ticking along, haven't they? Man. So pretty exciting stuff happening there. And of course, you still got good stuff, good yields around the Hex and Signum tokens, 17, 26, 18% respectively there. So pretty exciting stuff. And of course, the stable's doing well also. Let me just flick over to those tables there. Yeah, we've got good liquidity, 342 million liquidity, $30 million in volume, 24 hours on the Pulsex alone. And what else we got there? Yeah, we talked about that. There's the stable coins. So these stable coins pretty much are pegged 1-to-1, right? A Tether there, USDC and DAI, and the volume there looking pretty tasty as well. And keep a lookout for these as we go forward. The LP reward there for providing USD Tether, USDC DAI, that trifecta there is 10.5%. So really fantastic yield just for stable coins, right? Pretty impressive stuff there. And of course, the prices there pretty much around $1. So some crazy good stuff there. That was from Richard Hart's team. And yeah, that was a really encouraging sign when we saw that launch. I was very impressed. And maybe that leads us on into PMaker theory and all the others coming on later on. So that was from Richard. But Richard also put out another post here 6 hours ago. So that first one was 5 hours ago. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was 5 hours ago. But we had this other post here earlier, 6 hours ago. Hex is on day 1,877 of flawless operation. Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Signum are around 600 days of flawless operation. I like to think it's inevitable that these open source projects get the respect they deserve. Give it a try. You probably have free coins waiting for you if you had anything on Ethereum on May the 20th, 2023. I think it's May the 10th, to be honest. I think you might have got a little typo there. And of course, they're hidden games, literally hidden. Popular coin ranking sites like Fluctuance coins on the front page, but not these gems. It's like they're bearing a treasure for you to find. How about that? It's a little bit of lingo there. And of course, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Millions of dollars of free coins are waiting for people on Pulsechain. This one for wrapped Bitcoin is over $1,000 a coin. The chart shows a year and a half of dominant performance there. So pretty awesome. He's had well over 50,000 views on those. So impressive. So that was from Richard Hart there. Some pretty interesting timing of those posts. Now we're on day 620. Can you believe it? On Pulsechain. And here are the prices. We got quadruple 0505 for Pulsechain at 50% of the mean sacrifice price. So still very early to get it on Pulse, but 2.66% today. Pulsechain at quadruple 0.0337, just under 34% of the mean sacrifice price, up 4.23% today. The buy and burn is sitting at 1,206 billion, and that is now 6.05% of the public supply of Pulsechain. The incentive token, $1.86. The ratio is 36,912 Pulse for one incentive token, up 3.4%. And the supply there, we don't know whether there's actually updates correctly, but it's saying 53.4 million. But I question that one. Hex there is at 1.4 cents, up 4.76%. So Hex is the best performer today. And maybe it's that post by Richard, I don't know. But it's at EHEX is at a 31/100th of a penny. Combined price EHEX and PX is back at 1.7 cents. I think we got down to 1.5 cents the other day. So that is good news there. So that's Hex. Let's quickly look at the at some of the key metrics. Pulsechain gas prices 1.3 million beats. Ethereum at the moment 11 gwei. So at least the Ethereum gwei's come down. It was up over 200 gwei for a little while there, wasn't it? Especially around the Trump coin launch. And of course, we got 544x cheaper than Ethereum at the moment on Pulsechain. So Pulsechain doing pretty well. Remember, Pulsechain is a full system state copy of Ethereum based on the 10th of May 2023. And so it's a pretty robust full DeFi chain, the people's chain, as we say. 44,728 active validators. And the bridge, we've been watching this. Oh, nice. Look at that. Up almost $7 million higher than when it covered it the other day. Was it 2 days ago? Up $7 million higher from that. Isn't that great? So that's good news, heading in the right direction again. Keep a lookout for that. That could dramatically change as we head up towards this big bull market thing. It's going to be a fantastic bull market, like nothing you've ever seen before. The golden age is coming, the golden era there from Trump. It's going to send this to the moon. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at the volume on Pulsechain, 27.5 million. So not 25 million, but a bit higher. So it's not too bad. And the transactions 269,000 at the moment. We've got some top performers. 4 hours ago, Made in the USA launch. There's a little retail play that someone's doing. It's up 2,700% at 44 cents. We've got XUSD Vibrate assets. I'm not really familiar with that too much, but that's a fraction of a penny there. That's up 66%. That was launched 3 months ago. PDC the Greys, woohoo! Pretty much one of the top, if not the top performer, one of the top performers in any case on the old Pulsechain, is up 62%. What a beast! What a beast! And UFO, its little cousin, little sister, I don't know, that is up 57% as well. So PDC the Greys doing incredible there. Yeah, we've got lots of nice moves. Those are all over 50%. X is up about 18%. Orange Directive is up 14%. PLS Miami up 12% there. So I got a few moves there. PDC the Greys, it's up 11%. So the one with the Pulse is up 11%. That's got the one with 2.2 million in it. Let's have a quick look at that. Teddy Bear is up 11%. And that's probably where we are, over 10% there. Now, SolidX is up 8%. And I believe the Trump investment vehicle owns some SolidX on Pulsechain. So you can double check. I think RH Max covered that on his channel, but I think SolidX, they own SolidX for the Trump thing. So we're expecting the big crash game to come to SolidX. That's a pretty interesting linkage there through to possibly Eric from DragonX, right? So what's going on behind the scenes there? I don't know. I thought that was pretty unusual. And we're expecting that crash game to come to SolidX, right? So yeah, interesting. That's a few rumors from me there. But let's see. Let's go to PDC the Greys, since it is doing absolutely amazing. Look at that thing. Woo! Hot dog at a dog. This thing is rocking. And look at that. 0.00659. And we came all the way back down to 0.004,600. Now we're back at 0.00062. This thing has got some arms and legs. This thing, look at this thing, man. This is if this is the only one you ever got into on the Pulsechain, you would have been pretty damn happy, right? You picked one of the winners, and look at that thing. Let's have a look at it versus Pulse. The ratio is back at 12.33. So it's crazy stuff. Remember, it used to be under. It crossed over 1-to-1 back on the 26th of August, and ever since, it's now for every PDC you have, you're going to get 12.33 Pulse. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy good? So fantastic yield there. And of course, with the US price with Pulse there, it's at 0.00062. So amazing stuff. This thing's definitely going to lose a zero soon. It's going to lose a zero. I can see it happening because it's at the right time at the right place in the cycle. So can bring it on. That's going to be pretty cool. So some good stuff happening there. Now, just quickly want to talk about PUSD ALGO. We're talking about stable coins. We talked about USDX, all the home derivatives as it is. We've got liquidity forks on Pulsechain, USDL, etc. We've got the fiat back one, Coast, but PUSD algo, of course, is coming. We know now that this is going to be part of Jacob's outlook. This is going to be the stablecoin trifecta, and this is potentially going to help majorly with scalability. It'll be interesting to see whether it's a standalone protocol or whether it's integrated with his Mafia game and, of course, all his casinos. It's going to be interesting here, but this is going to be scalable like Terra Luna was, but done right. How's it been different? Well, it's going to have limit order bots on it. So that's going to make it autopilot. And it's going to be, and we saw it on testnet live, and it worked extremely well. Better stability than we saw with the Liquidity forks or with the Coast. So this could be a real game changer. And of course, it's going to have multiple ways of earning yield on it as well. So yeah, Terra Luna done right could be a real answer to that scalability on Pulsechain and help value Pulsechain up along with everything else that's going on. So if you want to get into that, you can get a 19% bonus at the moment. All you have to do is sacrifice to this address up here. Consider it more of a contribution. Just have a bit of patience with the launch time. But we do know that Jacob has given us signals a couple of days ago that he's building this and he's waiting for the Signum, I should say, Oracle, because they need that for price feeds, RNGs, and things like that. So this is getting closer. And how's he going to integrate? It's going to be pretty awesome. So you can get a 90% bonus at the moment. The link's in the video description. To do that, all you have to do is contribute or sacrifice to this address here, OX96E223. Have a bit of patience though, yeah, you will get, for every dollar, you get 20 algo. That's kind of like the Terra Luna there. And of course, you're going to get the 200 flex, which is the incentive token, and 0.01% wrap PUSD, which is the stable reward version of the stable coin, and for every dollar there. Now, how do you up your sacrifice as well? There's two bonuses. There's the referral code, which is 90%. Links in the video description. You can see somebody, this one here, Wallet19, used a referral code, possibly the one in the video description, in the link there. Got a 90% bonus. Ended up with over $4,352 with that multiplier. But because they did over $1,000 inclusive of the referral bonus, they ended up getting what they call a second bonus, which is bonus X. And you can see bonus X up here. Sacrifice over $1,000, get up to 2x multiplier. A 2x multiplier. That's mad. That's madly good. And of course, we see this wallet here ended up going from 4,352 for their sacrifice / contribution with a multiplier. They got a very high one. It's going to be somewhere between 1.01 and 2. So this one got a high one here, 1.92. So their sacrifice went from 4,352 to 8,356. So they ended up with a lot more of these tokens, Algo, Flex, and Wrap PUSD. Now, this is the way the setup was originally. So assuming that this project will have a similar setup, that is the allocation, and the allocation has not been changed. So that's kind of the play there. So get a 19% bonus, links in the video description. Now, the docs, interesting enough, have gone. They've gone. So they're being redone. That's a bullish sign. They're getting redone there. So I'm very excited about that. And the UI will probably get updated as well. This is just the first version. There's sort of the app marketing version of it, but it's going to be pretty awesome. They're going to have stability miners. That's going to be the heart of it, right? These limit order bots, they're going to run and keep that stablecoin stable. And there's going to be lots of ways to stake and earn and redeem and all sorts of stuff. So very excited about where this will go. So if you're interested in something like that, and you've got a bit of patience, that is the link, and get a 90% bonus with the referral code in the middle. Now, another one of Jacob's projects on Pulsechain is Pulse Mafia. And this is ticking along pretty well also. This is the #1 GameFi on Pulsechain and the first metaverse on Pulsechain. It's currently got 1,114 active players, 27 crime families, and the vault's got a massive 7.32 billion pulse. It's incredible. And the tiles, the land grab, the gold rush there is pretty much over. You can only buy in the secondary market. There's only 210 available tiles left on the game. There's thousands of them, right? Thousands. So, this has been an absolute boom, a super success. It's the #1 NFT marketplace on Pulsechain. It is breaking records. And so if you like this one, PUSD algo is probably going to be pretty special also when that launches. So there we go. Another one's here. And it's just building up here. So that's kind of cool. Let's have a quick look at the vault, see how big that is in terms of US dollars. 370,000. So we get a 3x in Pulse, which is very doable, right? Very doable to get 3x in Pulse. Then you're talking about $1 million reward kitty there, and we start entering the million. We get a 10x, you're in a multi-million-dollar rewards in the vault. So this game will change very quickly with the Pulsechain success as well. Yeah, crazy. And of course, it's playing on BNB also, and we may see it on base chain and other chains in the future. Maybe we'll see. They have announced those, but we'll see where we go. One or two chains at a time, right? That's the play. Now the maps, of course, have been a lot of fun. People are loving this. I mean, it's been a great community bullishness here. We can see a lot of the maps with different families in them and so forth. So been a lot of fun there. We're going to see a lot of changes coming up. We've got the businesses that are going to be coming up. So that's going to be fun to see those operating. And of course, the marketing DAO, right? Marketing DAO is coming up also. We already see some of that up here already, the marketing DAO, but that's going to be formally, I think, set up soon. So kind of cool. Let's quickly look at the roadmap before we finish up on the Mafia. So yeah, marketing DAO is ticked. So that is ticked. We're probably going to hear a bit more about that though. And the open for business, everyone is excited about that. So if you own a business, man, it is going to be fun. Look at this. And in fact, we got some updates in here already. This wasn't here before. This update will include, if you are a business owner, keep an eye out for the launch phase. This phase will release in stages. Stage 1, gambling businesses. So if you've got a roulette, go live, finalizing development. So that's kind of cool. Just so happens I own a roulette, so that's kind of relevant to me. Slot machine goes live in development. Lottery hall live and planning, and jackpot live and planning there. So yeah, looks like my roulette might be getting up and running pretty soon. Then the second stage is other businesses. Banks go live, and gun store goes live. Well, I own a gun store too, so that's going to be going live. Hospital and bullet factories there coming up as well. Now, funny enough, bullet factories are currently worth the most on the worth test, but I don't know whether that will stay the same. Roulette's a second, and I think slot machines a third. So that's kind of play there. Game dependent business, narcotics warehouse, booze warehouse, and car crashes coming up in stage 3. So there's definitely a pecking order there going on for that, but that's coming up for the Mafia. Exciting times ahead for the game. It's going to be very, very cool. Let's see here. Let's go. Right, so that is it for Pulsechain. I hope you guys enjoyed that update. Where else are we going? We've got some more comments. Trump said he thinks I think it's doing well. The media replied, "You made 7 billion from it." Well, says Brennan. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Brennan says he replied that that's chump change. And Wookie says, well, that's actually probably about similar to what his worth was before he went into politics, right? It was worth about 7 billion. So he's basically doubled as well from that at this stage. Wookie says, Wookie just went into the bakery. Nice one. Wookie, get us a nice donut. You know, I like donuts. And it's not because I was a policeman either. It's, Ian Richard Plummer now making video in toilet says, you know, I'm not sure what you mean there. Not sure what you mean. No more toilets, RH. Oh yes, Richard Art the plumber. Well, it was actually it was bidet, wasn't it? A bidet, which is what they use in Europe, don't they? We'll finish there. But Pulsechain is working great, says Norman. It is indeed. Pulsechain is working like a charm. Hey, look, Pulsechain, like the timing is always the difficult stuff in crypto, right? So we talk about projects that we think are probably going to be doing well, but getting the exact timing of when they really super fire is always very difficult. We tried to use cycles to do that. That helps to zone in on a cycle, so we've got that in our modeling. But you know, individual projects can be very difficult. Sometimes developers can completely change the roadmap. An example of that was Stevie D for vaults, right? We were expecting 10, 11 pillars in November, and we only got two, I think one, or maybe even two in that month. So instead of getting 11, we got 2. And so you know, you don't know where these things are going to happen, right? This happens sometimes like that. So you know, timing is always the most difficult thing to get right in crypto. Some people come in by accident at the right time, and then they're out laughing, right? And other people are sticking around for ages waiting for the right time. This is the way it goes. But we are in the cycle. We are in the bull market year 2025. So things should be pretty good moving ahead. And February coming up is normally the greenest month. So bring it on, baby, bring it on. That's all I can say. All right, so let's bring in the TitanX and start talking about that. Now, TitanX obviously has been, we're going to talk about that pretty aggressively, let's say. TitanX has been in wave 2, pretty negative in wave 2. So I haven't got my full list because Deck Screener keeps deleting it. And so it's, you know, I haven't put it all up, but I've got all the high volume ones on here at the moment. I haven't got the smaller volumes, but all the high volumes. And we can see that it's turned green again. So thank goodness for that, everybody would say. I know that people on Telegram and stuff that were, you know, pretty sweating it. Had a few comments here on YouTube as well. But TitanX up 17% today. or 17.7 now. It's just gone up a little bit higher there. Let's have a look at TitanX. This is obviously the layer one of the layer one. And of course, you need this to get into the TitanX ecosystem. So let's full screen that. So we've actually had a bounce. Yay, a bounce. So 2 days a bounce there. So that's kind of good news. We bounced all the way. We got pretty low though. We got down to 6 zeros of 3,000. 6 zeros, 3,070 right down here. So we really tested these previously. Previously, these were resistance. We bounced off that as support for the time being. Now, is this the end? That's the question. Is this the end of wave 2? Because, you know, we had wave 1. Let's do a little picture. Let's do a little picture here. We had wave 1, right? Wave 1 was up here. That was a 10x. Now, 10x is a lot of money to be made, right? And there's a lot of people that made money in there. So I guess, you know, we then had the big sell-off, right? Big sell-off. Now, obviously, we had Jake Sharp talking about hyper-deflation, and we did see, we have seen a lot of deflation, but the problem is that he rejigged all the stats, how those stats are organized. And so we ended up having, when you start changing it from liquid supply to circulating supply, we end up having all the staked amounts, right? So we had the staked amounts and stuff that's in TitanX ecosystem dApps, right? And so we ended up having those, and we also had a lot of launches during this time as well. So you got the economic energy being directed to a lot of those new launches, and so we're between profit taking, stat changes, expectation changes, whale movements, all these things, and other tokens launching in the ecosystem. You know, whether it's ETH, the majors, or whether it's Trump token or whatever. We had lots of other, you know, shiny things out there that people go for. And Richard always talks about this, you know, shiny things out there. And it goes, and so we had an extremely dramatic pullback in the market there, and pretty much wiped out most of the gain that we had in that last move. And so here we are back down here. Now, obviously, finding the bottom is very key for making mad gains on the cycle 3. So if you're very bullish on TitanX ecosystem, as I am, now timing obviously going to be difficult there. Once we get this level 3 going up to pretty awesome. Now, where we're at the moment, we're at 4,072. I think if we can get another high above 5,000, that's something that we're going to be looking over in the next couple of days, right? To start forming a new uptrend, a new third wave, as opposed to going in a sideways channel. You know, I don't think we're, you know, might go in a sideways channel for a little bit, but if we can get over 5,000, we could get that third wave, you know, that Elliott third wave that everyone's looking forward to there. But it may take a little bit of time just to warm up, is my guess. But we have very bullish things coming. We've got the Ouroboros lending before the end of the month. We've got Omni-chain and the base chain as well. And then we've got a lot of the buy and burns and things like that that could potentially be leveraged on. We'll see what happens there. And we've got more bullish protocols launching as well, like Ascendant and things like that. So there's a strong roadmap coming. We also obviously got Bitcoin Genie and Vault Thunder staking and all this stuff. There's lots of cool stuff in the roadmap. And then we're entering into February, which is normally the most greenish month of the year. So we have got a very good outlook in the ecosystem there. So that gives you some confidence that that wave 3 will start pinning on, as well as we got deflation, generally speaking, in the ecosystem. Although it dropped off the last day or two, it has typically been about 200 billion TitanX a day before that. So we'll see how all that goes. And we've still got the all the big buy and burns, right? Also, by the time we get to mid-February, we've got obviously Hydra and Hyper are probably going to, all the minting is going to be largely out. And we could see, particularly for Hydra, the buy and burn really start to accelerate there because it's really big. And we could see some real magic happening there in addition. So we see a lot of those dials get turned up. It could be very fun indeed with the roadmap. So all those things combining, the roadmap of projects, the including the Omni-chain and the Ouroboros lending, the green month for all cryptos, the sort of altcoin season-y thing time happening, and of course all the dials of the buy and burns ticking up. We could see a pretty quick re-rate in the old TitanX ecosystem. So that's kind of the view at the moment, and it looks like timing is probably in our favor this time with that cyclical move in February. That's kind of the play there. Let's have a quick look at some of these others that are performing pretty well. So we'll look at the best performer out of these top movers. Ouroboros at 10.3 cents. It's had a really good time, up 33%. Shogun finally moved as well, up 28.5%. That's both on the TitanX and X28 pair. Tink is at 15 cents. So I did a fair value calculation for Strategy Club. Man, my numbers were so accurate, it's crazy. And of course, we've had lower volume since then, so this price is still holding up pretty well, and probably still future pricing in some of the volume. But you keep a lookout for Titan Farms. I think it's going to do pretty well, especially if we get that Ascendant project launching soon. That could be very bullish also. Now, X28, of course, yesterday I think it was, we had the launch of Bonfire that benefits X28. So we're going to look to see how that plays out as well. Volt is up 20%, good move for there. And like I said, we've got Volt staking and Bitcoin Genie coming up for that. So that's going to be bullish for Volt. Titan, what we've got, DragonX. DragonX has performed like a boss, and the ratio on DragonX is very good. It was over 10 last night, currently 9.65. Got all the way down to like below 7 with a whale, sort of or not maybe a whale, but a large holder selling out. And so that's shown up to be really, really doing really well. DragonX is really the golden store of value inside the TitanX ecosystem, and that's holding up pretty well. And Hyper up 16%. So these are all the large volumes, right? So when we talk about that, they all got pretty decent market caps. 43 million is the market cap for TitanX at the moment, and the liquidity relative to Pulsechain is better, right, in the TitanX system. So that's something that people might find interesting as well. So you know, even though it's only got so much ETH in the TitanX pair, what's the amount of ETH in there at the moment? 276, so $970,000 in there of ETH at the moment, but it's actually pretty liquid relatively given token supply. We might talk more about that. So that is kind of where we are on the old TitanX. Looking at the projects coming up, we just had Bonfire launch. It seems like it's up 92% on that price at the moment, and that's ticking away there. I don't know if we have. Let's go to the website, see what Bonfire had. Now this benefits X28, right? Uses X28, so it's built on that. We only had Shogun as far as I call for Shogun there on X28. Now we have Bonfire. I don't think we have a Titan Farms pair for that, so that's kind of where we are there. Where we got the mint and burn is on this page. I think it might be on this page. Let's see what we've got that's gone through there. Yeah, so total X28 deposited in. Looks like day one was 83.73 billion X28. So okay, but low. It's kind of low. We expect, you know, a couple hundred. But yesterday was an interesting day, right? We had a lot of volatility turning around, and we had that sort of a pivot from negative to positive, and also you know, the gas prices were coming off as well. So 83. Let's see if it does a better day today. It's 28% through mint cycle at the moment, apparently. So there we go. That is that. What else we got coming up? Ascendant. It's going to be very bullish for Tink Farm. So that's going to be bullish. That's 4 days and 14 hours to go. So that should be pretty fun to see that play out. And of course, Ouroboros is the lending USDX, the big lending utility that is doing very well on the price, over 10 cents now. And that is that could be a big changer in the TitanX ecosystem. Certainly a big supply sink, and could have a marginal impact on leverage buying. If it's similar to a liquidity fork, then you know, we might see a small fraction of the stablecoin actually help push prices up. So, but in any case, it's going to be helpful with supply sink there, and may dampen down some of the sell pressure to some degree as well with the LP pool. We'll see how that all goes. But that is certainly big news there. So 2 quality projects launching for the TitanX ecosystem, particularly benefiting Tink, the Tink farms. And of course, TitanX and DragonX will benefit primarily first with USDX. USDX may also flood more Ethereum into the TitanX ecosystem through if that's added as the 3rd token for collateral. So that's the other one there. Bitcoin Genie, I'm very excited about that. I think that's the frontier of DeFi 3.0 from Stevie D. He's really focusing on the buy side as opposed to the sell side and sustainability there. So that could be a game changer. That's probably the most frontier tokenomics. Now remember, these are experimental, but you know, he's I think he's got a lot of things right. So keep a lookout for that. Obviously, people have adopted his perpetual auction system that has seemed to perform pretty well on the supply side, but cracking the demand side and sustainability side, that's kind of the key there. And I think there's something where the dude has kind of led the frontier there for DeFi 3.0. So just remember, crypto is volatile. This is probably very volatile, but this is the frontier of DeFi 3.0. So if you like being on the frontier of tokenomics in the world of crypto, this is definitely a place to be. What else we got going down here? We got obviously Taurus coming up. Obviously, Cryptographics is very excited about Taurus. Thinks that that's a game changer protocol as well. So it's one to keep an eye out on there. And so those are a couple that I'm picking off at the moment that I think could be very, very good indeed. All right, so that is pretty much that. And of course, we've obviously got Titan Farms coming potentially the Pulsechain and Basechain. And we know that other teams are going to be building on Basechain for the Omni chain, right, from Jake Sharp. So it's pretty exciting. You are buying probably at the bottom of the market at the moment, and obviously we're trying to get that timing right. But it does look pretty good at the moment, the last 2-day rebound. But we're not quite there. We need to put confirmation over 5,000 on that TitanX price there to start really getting more confidence about that wave 3. But in any case, it is pretty much on that big pullback, so it's not a bad entry to get into. All right, so we've got some good stuff coming from Jake Sharp. He has been posting all day about DeFi 3.0, never sleeps. Morpheus, of course, coming from Brandon, from formerly Rags to Riches there. We've got lots of posts happening here from Jake Sharp overnight. So kind of cool. And yeah, he keeps talking about deflation there in the TitanX system. Make Ethereum great again. Obviously, Ethereum could be pumped as well, but with the Trump system, we're waiting to see what sort of executive orders we get around crypto, such as no tax or anything like that, a strategic reserve, all those sort of things. We know that their private, the Sun's private, Trump's Sun's private crypto vehicle has been buying up different assets at the moment after the Trump launch and the Melania launch. So yeah, so ticking away there on these. So kind of cool. That is just looking through some of these messages. So he's been posting non-stop overnight. So he's really been busy as the old Jake Sharp there. We won't go through all of them, but pretty interesting. Northman says, TitanX good luck, says Northman. And Robbie One says, he removed the cap for the price of insulin, says Robbie One. Trump there did. Okay, cool. Right, don't know. All right, so hope you guys have enjoyed today's coverage. That's pretty much it. So let's see what happens here. The greenest month is ahead of us. This could be really cool. February, bring it on. End of January could be pretty good too. Yeah, looking forward to more from Trump, particularly around crypto. We get some executive orders around there, and that's probably going to happen this week, is my guess. Let's see. We're expecting a lot of executive orders this week. So game on, and of course he has been on live stream just now talking with some of the tech executives about AI, $500 billion investment in Texas. And fielding some questions there. All right, hope you enjoyed it. We're almost at 1 hour, 57 minutes. Don't forget, you got the referral link there to a PUSD ALGO, and that is hopefully going to solve the trilemma there on stablecoin, particularly scalable, like the Terra Luna, but done right with AI bots, no human intervention. And of course, who knows how Jacob will integrate that. Will it be integrated or standalone? We shall see. Obviously, Mafia is gaining strength to strength every day. And what else are we going to say about that? Yeah, if you haven't joined our Discord, Strategy Club is in the video description. $35 a month for that. Good value. We pass a lot of intel in there on a daily basis. And number two, if you want to join the Pulsechain Discord, it's $5 a month, which is like a cup of coffee. Links in the video description for that. And we look forward to seeing you in Discord. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you again in probably 2 days. And hope you guys enjoy yourself. I will stream, in case there's something really important to stream about. But until then, I'll see you on Friday, my time, which will be Thursday, Northern Hemisphere time. All right, take care. Bye for now. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.